are streaming. The mic is live now. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our Friday night service tonight. Welcome to those of you who are on the stream. And I know there's at least one person on the stream because we got the text, please start the stream. So we know somebody's there. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined tonight by Hal and Beth, who've helped me plan the service tonight and are going to help me lead it this evening. And for those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Cantor Ken. The rabbi's still away. You have another week of me next week, and then the rabbi will be back the week after that. So welcome. We're going to start with Hinei Ma Tov on page 128 in the Mishkan Tefillah prayer book. And it's such a perfect way to start a service because Hinei Ma Tov is talking about how wonderful it is that we're all here together. And so how wonderful it is that we all made it here tonight. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Wonderful it is that we are all here, and how wonderful it is that you're all in such good voice. I heard that, and it was wonderful. So thank you for singing along, and I hope the whole evening goes that way. So that was just kind of our introductory song. It's now time to light the Shabbat candles. And Omari, would you like to light the candles for us tonight?
Can he be trusted with matches?
I think we're going to try.
I didn't rehearse this.
That's okay. So I was taught many, many years ago by a woman who was about this tall. Her name was Luba Kaplan, to light the Shabbat candles. And she said to me, the first thing that you do when you light the Shabbat candles is you light the Shabbat candles. This seems like a trick, but it is not. That was exactly the way she said it. So the first thing that you do when you light the Shabbat candles is you light the Shabbat candles. You got to press harder on the striker. Well, not hard enough that you break the match. Yeah, so put that one.
See, that's actually a good thing that he does.
This is not how you do it.
So push down on the point. No. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now move your fingers away that way, sideways. There you go. No, sideways with your fingers. There you go. So you don't burn your fingers. There you go.
Round of applause.
Okay, you can put it right there on the table is fine. Yep, you can put it right there.
Well done.
And then after the candles are lit, we take a moment to think about the light that these candles bring, remembering that Martin Luther King Jr. said, additional darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can drive out darkness. And that's why we light the candles in the evening, to drive out the darkness. They represent warmth and light and all the good things in life. And we want those in our lives, so we take a breath while we scoop that goodness and wonderness and light into our bodies. We breathe in and we scoop that in 3 times to bring that warmth and light into our lives. And then now we're ready for Shabbat. We have gotten to the point where we're ready for Shabbat, so we say the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Shabbat. And now, would you like to pick up the Kiddush cup? And hold up the Kiddush cup? And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidarshta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And if you like, you can take a sip of the wine. Is it okay for me? Okay, just take a big sniff of the wine. It's fine Manischewitz. It was a very good year. I think you lost your kippah. Thank you. Of course. Okay, so we continue in our Kabbalat Shabbat, just kind of welcoming Shabbat on page 134 with Zamru Ladonai. And I'm in the right spot. Page 134, Zamru Ladonai. You guys can come a little closer. Zamru Ladonai v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zamru Ladonai v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zamru Ladonai v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zamru Ladonai v'chinor Wonderful. Well, you're still in full voice, so it sounds so wonderful from up here when everyone's singing. We come to the climax of the Kabbalat Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 138. And we're going to continue with the Rotenberg. We did this last week, and we're going to do it again this week. And it has become one of my favorite melodies for Lecha Dodi because it actually allows you to get all the words in which many melodies to Lecha Dodi don't allow you to do, but this one actually allows you to get all the syllables in, so I like it. La 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 Lecha Dodi, la 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 Likrat Kala, la 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Yikabela, Shamor V'Zachor, B'Dibor Echad, Hishmiyanu El HaMyuchad, Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad, L'Shemu Tiferet V'Letila. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nilchad, ki mekor habracha, merosh mekerem nesucha. Shabbat Tehila, Yai Lai Lai, Ya La 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 Lecha Dodi, La 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 Likrat Kala, La 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Yikabela. Now we skip to verse 5. Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kiva Orech, Kumi Uri, Uri, Shir Daveri. Adonai, Aleach Nigla, Yai Lai Lai, Ya La 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 Lecha Dodi, La 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 Likrat Kala, Ya La 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Now what we're going to do is skip to verse 9, and we're going to ask everyone to rise and turn to face the door as if we can imagine in our mind's eye Shabbat as a person walking through the door, just like the bride, just like we would greet a bride coming to her wedding. Boi v'shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam b'simcha, Uv'tzola, Toch emunei, Am segula, Boi kala, Boi kala. Now all still standing. And so we go to page 146 and the Barchu. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. I realize I made a mistake there, but I'm sure God will forgive me. One of the reasons that I really enjoy planning a service with people I don't usually plan services with is they take me to places I wouldn't have gone on my own. And as Beth and Hal and I were planning the service, Beth said, "Oh, I really love the reading on page 95. Can I do that?" And I said, "That's a wonderful idea. I wouldn't have gone to page 95 for a reading on a Friday night service, but it's a wonderful reading, and I'm glad you suggested it." So Beth is going to lead us on the reading on page 95.
God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our life within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks.
Thank you. And now we go back to page 152 and the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vahed. And now we can all be seated. And on page 154, please join me in the Via Hafta. And I will get there quickly here because I would like to read it along with everyone. Via Hafta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shiftecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'ditem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. And on page 158, we have the wonderful song, prayer, hymn, words directly from the Torah. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you among the gods that are worshipped? And let's do this in the right key. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nerdar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nerdar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef eleh, Nora tehilot, osef eleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu v'amaru, ze'eli anu v'amaru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nerdar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nerdar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef eleh, Nora tehilot, osef eleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Okay. Let's turn to page 162, and this is a tune that, it's a wonderful tune, and for one reason or another, I don't end up doing it very often on Friday nights, but there's no reason we shouldn't do it, so this is another thing where Hal and Beth said, hey, let's do Vishamru, and I said, that's a great idea. I don't really do Vishamru very often on Friday nights, but it's a wonderful prayer. And basically it's telling us that the people of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time between God and the Jewish people. And it's a wonderful sentiment, so let's all join in a wonderful round of Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam b'midolah. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam b'midolah. B'nei u'bein b'nei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam b'midolah. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'toratam b'midolah. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. turn to page 164, and I'm actually going to take the guitar off for this. I don't want to drop it like I did a few weeks ago. And so this is where we start our standing prayer, our tefillah, also known as the Amidah, which literally means the standing prayer. So please rise. We're going to go from page 164 to 166 to 168 to 170, and I'll try to call out the page numbers as we go. Adonai sefartai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gedula Lifnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'el Givurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Page 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kiroshim b'chol yom yohalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. That's wonderful, and you can all be seated now. We wrap up this portion of the service, the tefillah portion of the service, with a prayer for peace. Because when it comes right down to it, many of our prayers, almost all of our prayers, have the idea of peace in them somewhere, and this one is specifically directed at peace. This is Shalom Rav on page 178, and not only is this a prayer asking for peace, but it's asking for Shalom Rav. Rav just means a whole bunch of. So Shalom Rav is, we're asking not just for peace, but we're asking for a whole bunch of peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata hu Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki Ata hu Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. And now, as I said, when you plan a service with someone different, you go to different places. And so Hal has loves this reading on page 207. So if we flip back in our text to page 207, Hal's going to lead us in this reading.
What they did not tell Ken is be careful when you give Katzman the microphone. Because before I begin this reading, I need to say thank you to Cantor Isman. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your selfless generosity of spirit by inviting us to share the Bema with you tonight. We treat this as an honor, and we are most grateful. As to this reading, look, I understand I am definitely no scholar. I'm just a teacher. But I do know this. We Jews are a so very small people in number. I also know that that as it has been throughout history, we are once more under attack. If we are going to not just survive this latest challenge, but to thrive beyond it, it is up to all of us to instill in our children a deep and meaningful pride in what it is to be Jewish. Not just in liturgy and ritual, which is essential, but pride in our shared heritage, in our history, and in our culture. And when we do this, we need to do this with accessible clarity to our young people, with joy, and dare I say the F word, with fun. With that in mind, I would like to read this call to action by Paula Ackerman. We need Jewish men and women to become a Jewishly inspired and informed leadership, not only rabbinical, but also lay. We need Jews more conversant with the thought of teachings of Judaism, to whom Judaism is no cold, remote theology, and Hebrew learning a matter of mystical ignorance, and to whom Jewish culture is no proxied culture. We need a reassertion of faith and a reawakening of interest in a cultural heritage that is all too rapidly being relegated to the exclusive possession of graduates of rabbinical seminaries. We desperately need such lay leaders today with vision and fortitude. Thanks.
Thank you, Hal.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think these
Yeah.
glasses here, we don't want those to get stepped on. Okay, so I actually jumped ahead in the plan a little bit because I can't read. So, but that's okay. That was a wonderful place for that thought. As we move forward, and you guys can either join me out here or take a seat back there. But one of the things I really love about this congregation is this idea that we gather together in community and sharing amongst each other. And this is unique to this congregation. I have worshiped with lots and lots of congregations. Joan and I have traveled all over the world, and wherever we are in the world on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, we try and find a congregation. And I've never experienced anything like this to this extent, that this congregation shares in its joys and its challenges together as a community. So we start as a community with joy, and we start by sharing our joys with each other. So does anyone have a joy that they would like to share? And I'll kind of work my way from this part of the congregation over. I'll get over to this side. I'm going to start with this side and work my way over. So hang in there. But does anyone have a joy that they'd like to share? Miranda. So you've moved completely into your house. So does that mean like all the boxes are unpacked? And no, okay. Joan and I have lived in our house for 12 years. The boxes aren't all unpacked yet. So yeah, now she's upset that I mentioned that. Okay, so you've moved completely in your house and you got a phone. Big step. All right, sharing that joy. Any other joys folks would like to share? Yes.
Last week I mentioned that my name is
Well, we're certainly glad you're here. Sorry it's an occasion like a Yortzeit, but it can be wonderful to remember too. So we'll bask in all those wonderful memories. Wonderful. Did you have something to share as well?
Yes, I have the privilege of receiving a dear friend, Judea. She's going to a nursing home. She doesn't have anyone to pass it on to, and I believe I shared with everyone I'm coming into the tribe. And so it's a privilege of a lifetime to get those cherished things because my families were washed away.
Wow, thank you. So for moving into our home and getting a new phone, and for wonderful friends and family joining us, and for being able to carry on other people's traditions and memories with with an inheritance, if I heard you correctly. So for all of these wonderful things, we say, "Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear?" Other joys that folks would like to share. Yes, Karen.
Too much to say, so I won't. But we have been having a wonderful time in Israel for 7 months, roughly, and also been back here for a little over a month and getting to see many friends that it's great to see here tonight, especially family members coming in and friends I haven't seen for a while. So it's wonderful to be back, and we'll also be happy when we're back in Israel next week.
Well, selfishly, we're really happy you're here in Maryland at the moment. But yes, wonderful to be back here and to have friends and family with us. Thank you for coming. Other joys, Tom.
We're going to jump the gun a little bit, but in just a few weeks, we're going to be heading off for a trip to Ireland. But the reason is that we're celebrating a 50th anniversary.
Wow, a 50th anniversary. That's wonderful.
I don't know how that's possible when you're only 45.
Yeah, somehow, Einstein might be able to explain that with some theory of light travel or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, and Bob, did you have something too?
I wanted to share my joy in being able to see my friends Jim and Karen and Arthur. Just warms my heart. I'm just really happy about it.
That's wonderful. So for wonderful family and friends being here, and for 50th anniversaries and trips to Ireland, can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Other joys? Joys on this side of the aisle? Amari, share a joy with us.
Right. Yesterday night, I was featured at the Word Book House for Lucas Author Night for my book, which is pretty exciting.
So tell me about this place. It's like a bookstore. Okay.
In Edgewater.
In Edgewater. Wonderful. So they're highlighting your book.
Well, it was like local authors, many authors, about to be featured.
Okay. Wonderful. And we can go there to buy your book, right? They have it on sale there? No. No?
Not yet.
They featured your book, but they're not selling it?
They featured me. They featured me.
Okay, wonderful. Other joys? Joys, I don't mean to leave you guys out. Do you have joys you'd like to share? Being here, wonderful. So for all these joys that we shared tonight, can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Wonderful. And now we shift from joys to concern for those who are suffering, those who are in pain, those who need healing. We have a list of congregants, and I can turn this off now since I'm back up here to read the list. We have a list of congregants who we say a prayer for healing for. We have Chuck Anthony, Lily Rubenstein, Linda Block, Jack Blum, Allison Herman, Steve McCarrow, Gwyn Walkoff, and Robin Zagalski, who we say healing prayers for. And if there's anyone, any of your friends or family that you would like to say a healing prayer for tonight, we'll do the prayer in just a moment. But as I look around the sanctuary, you're welcome to say their name out loud or just to say it internally in your heart as my eyes meet yours.
Jay Liddell. And Sue Fawnin, Steve McCarroll.
Connor.
And so we do the Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for healing. We're going to do a slightly different version this week. If you guys would come join me for Mishaberach. We're going to do the Taubman version of this, which is a little different than the Friedman version. In fact, it's very different from the Friedman version. But it's also a beautiful melody. And now, if we'll just think for a moment, a few moments of silent prayer, those thoughts that privately you'd like to speak to God about, or just things that you want to think about, just a few moments of silent prayer. You won't find it on the earthquake, you won't find it on the storm, you won't find it in the crashing of the waves upon the shore, you'll only find it in the silence, God's own whispered word, the still small voice is heard. The still small voice is heard. We've got a lot of music that we're doing tonight, so I'm going to do a very, very short Devar Torah. This week's Torah portion is Matot. It's actually one part of, there's a double Torah portion this week because we're trying to catch up the fact that we don't have a leap month in this year calendar, so they doubled up a couple of the Torah portions. But I just want to talk about just the beginning of the Torah portion, Matot, tonight, because the very first portion, the very first words in Matot are, and by the way, the word Matot means tribes, the tribes of Israel. The very first words are, God spoke to the heads of the Israelite tribes. And the implication is here that the heads of the tribes then are going to pass these words down to the rest of their tribes. And this is what God has commanded. If a man makes a vow to Adonai or takes an oath, imposing an obligation on himself, he shall not break his pledge. He must carry out all that has crossed his lips. That's a direct quote from the Torah. It goes on to have a discussion about women, and we talked about last week how women don't always get a fair shake in the Torah. Here, women actually get a bit of an out, though. Women can make a vow, and they're held to it as well. However, if a woman is very young, they don't say how young is very young, they say very young, the father is allowed to nullify the vow if he does it right when he hears about it. So if the father hears about it, he has that moment to make the decision, I can nullify that. And then there is a statement that if a husband finds out about a vow that his wife made, he can nullify it, again, if he does it when he finds out about it. So that's what they say about vows and how important vows are. You really, whether you're a man or a woman, you make a vow and you're supposed to do it. So I've been thinking about that and thinking about the fact that we're all 9 weeks away from the High Holy Days and Yom Kippur. We're 9 weeks away from we're 8 weeks away from Rosh Hashanah, but about 9 weeks and a few days away from Yom Kippur. And that causes a little fear in the pit of my stomach because I got to prepare for the High Holy Days. But as a cantor preparing for the High Holy Days, one of the things I really have to prepare carefully to do correctly is the prayer Kol Nidre on Yom Kippur. The Erev Yom Kippur service is actually called the Kol Nidre service because that is the important central prayer of that service. It's so important, everyone, that that's what we call the service. No one calls it Erev Yom Kippur service, although that's what it really is. We call it the Kol Nidre service. So what is Kol Nidre all about, and what does Kol Nidre mean? Kol Nidre is about all the promises, all of the vows that we took. That's what Kol Nidre means, all of the vows that we took. And what the cantor does when the cantor chants Kol Nidre, the cantor is saying to God, please don't make any of my congregants die this coming year because they haven't fulfilled their vows, because they haven't fulfilled this mitzvot, this commandment from the Torah that says you make a vow, you'd better fulfill it. And the Kol Nidre prayer is about, well, God, please don't write their names in the book of not living. I don't really want to call it the book of death, but there is that ancient philosophy that on Yom Kippur, God's making that decision. Do our names get written in the book of life or in the book of death? And what the cantor's pleading with that Kol Nidre prayer is, don't let any of the congregation here get written in the book of death because they made a vow and then weren't able to fulfill it, as long as, the cantor adds as the part of that prayer, as long as they honestly tried to fulfill it. That's a part of the Kol Nidre prayer. The cantor chants to God, don't let any of this congregation be written in the book of death just because they didn't fulfill a vow, as long as they tried, as long as they gave a good faith effort. And so we have to be careful when we're making promises. We have to be careful when we say, I swear to God I will get this done. We really better do it. Now, the Kol Nidre prayer and the services on Yom Kippur will help us kind of convince God, okay, we really did try if we aren't able to fulfill those vows. But we really should take vows seriously. And that's what this week's Torah portion is about, and a little bit of a foreshadowing, if we may, for the coming High Holy Days, which are not that far away. So that's all I have to say about the Torah portion tonight. Let's keep moving forward with our service, and we're going to start with our concluding prayers on page 586. And I will shift the camera angle for those folks on the Zoom, because we're going to move over to open the Ark. I do that with this button here. Shows us the Ark, and we go to page 586. And we'll see if I can untangle the microphone cord. There we go. And would you guys like to take a side and do the ark with me? Please rise. Explain a little bit on the way over because I felt a little bit awkward at that moment. I'll explain that it's my custom. It doesn't necessarily have to be everyone's custom, but it's my custom on the words va'anachnu korim. They literally mean we bend our knee and bow, and so I tend to do that. And the tradition is to bow to the east. Most congregations have their ark facing east, and so most people face the ark and bend their knee and bow. The way this building got laid out, because of the piece of land they had and where everything fit, that way's east. That's actually what that piece of artwork is saying. It's saying face eastward and face Jerusalem. That's why that artwork is on that wall right there. And so when I'm doing that part of the service, I like to bow and face east. So I turned around and faced east. Usually I'm on this side and I just kind of do it standing from this side. But anyway, that's just to let you know what's happening. That's what I was doing. It's our tradition here at this point in the service to think about our loved ones who are no longer with us, who've passed away recently and at this season in years past. In a few moments, we're going to read the names of the folks we're thinking of tonight. And if you're here observing the memory of those individuals, please rise, or we ask you if you'd like to rise, so we can acknowledge you that you're here for that, and we can give you a little bit of support. And then after the list of names has been read, we'll ask everyone who would like to provide some support and comfort to those folks to also rise, and we'll say the Kaddish prayer that's on page 598. So you can flip to 598 while we're reading the list of names. And Hal, would you like to read the list of names?
Thank you very much. The very first name that we're going to read falls within the period of Shloshim. He's passed in the last 30 days. Alan Dolgoff. One of the kindnesses that Ken extended to me was to move the yahrzeit of my father, who should have been read last week. He's done me the kindness of allowing me to read him tonight. And so we begin with those people for whom this is the anniversary of their passing. Dr. Edwin Katzman. Stephen Schneider, Waller Elliott, Francis Williams Jr., William Cooperman, Robert Bob Schwartz Ruben, Geraldine Burstein, Hannah Mindell, Joseph Trister, Leslie Strauss, Jacob Jake Brown, Lawrence Jason, Laureline Leach, Danielle Lipson, Micah Rom, and Ann Weeder Salzberg.
And now, if you'd like to rise and say Kaddish with all of us, that's fine. And I see everyone rising, that's wonderful. And so Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'meru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach leolam ulmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yiprohar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brechu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'meru amen Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru amen Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and all who are in bereavement, and let us all say Amen. You can be seated. We have a few announcements. The Hineni Committee will be presenting breath-centered gentle yoga here on Sunday, July 12th, which is 2 days from now, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There is more information in the program. I honestly don't know if you can still sign up for it, but if you really want to come, go ahead and click the link that's in this weekly email, and hopefully you can still RSVP if you'd like to come to that. Our summer potluck is going to be Friday on July 31st, so 3 weeks from now. Do I have my math right? Yeah. 3 weeks from now. So come on to the potluck and bring some food to share, and we'll have a wonderful time at 6 o'clock in the social hall, and then we'll come in here and we'll have a nice service. And that'll be the service when the rabbi and I are back together again on the bima. So come on back for when we're all together again as a group. Online dues renewal continues for the 2026-2027 year. If you do need a hard copy mailed to you, please email Penny in the office. And please see the weekly email for lots of stuff that's going on. It may be summertime, but there's still lots of stuff going on. We've got, believe it or not, the Shbarbecue coming up in a few weeks. That'll be at the end of August. And that's only, like 6 weeks away. So you want to get in on that and make sure you register for that. And last year it sold out, so make sure you get in on that. Wonderful outdoor service and barbecue dinner and just a wonderful time. So those are all of the stuff that we're going to highlight in the announcements. And now it's time for the motzi. And Amari, would you like to come back up and do the motzi with us? Since he was so enthusiastic about wanting to help participate tonight. Yeah. We'll bring him up. Yeah, it'll stay on. So lift off the cover off the challah. You can put it up here if you like. Beautiful challah. So here, let me grab the tray. And you can actually grab the end of the challah. And we say together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And you're welcome to eat it. You guys would like a piece, you're welcome to grab a piece if you'd like. And we have now our concluding song. Our concluding song is actually going to be the same concluding song as we did last week. We've had a request for a reprieve. And I thought it was a good idea because it actually ties into the Devar Torah that I talked about making a vow. Because the song, especially with the intro that Hal's going to sing for us, which I only read last week as a poem, but Hal's got music for this intro, it makes it a vow. It says, let us make this a pledge that we're going to be involved in our country. So we're going to do God Bless America. It's on page, I didn't grab the page, but it's like 680. My wife is always on top of things. Page 680, God Bless America, our closing hymn tonight.
There is a preamble that Mr. Berlin and Kate Smith made famous. And if you're a Flyers fan of my age, this is also very special. As the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in this solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wonderful. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And I should have also said in the announcements, I'll say it now, thanks so much to Seth Jason and Catherine Hilton and Tom and Barbara Weeder for sponsoring the Oneg today. Please go out and enjoy a wonderful Oneg, and we'll be out there with you in just a moment. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. That was so wonderful. And now you say we're led a Friday night service.